This is Tim Bryce with my column titled, Trump is Beating the Swamp. Despite resistance from the Congress, President Trump has made considerable progress in his first term. He has reshaped the federal courts to enforce the Constitution. He has moved the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, something other presidents promised to do but failed to deliver. He has rebuilt our military and is assisting veterans. Illegal immigration is being slashed. He made several key trade deals, particularly the recent USMCA to replace NAFTA. He crushed ISIS and introduced policies and programs resulting in a booming economy of historic proportions. Despite all of this, perhaps his biggest achievement is taking the swamp to task and is beating them. Let's be clear. The Washington establishment likes it better when one of their own serves as president. Mr. Trump is the first outsider to break the pattern and challenge the culture. As we know, the swamp consists of Democrats, the mainstream media, rhinos, and the deep state bureaucrats, all of whom have banded together to obstruct this president. However, President Trump is a quick study and has forced their hand by branding the news media as fake news, thereby causing them to lose the trust of the people, taking rhinos to task, unmasking and weeding out deep state officials, and butting heads with the Democrats. He is being successful, as it is simply no longer business as usual in Washington. Indicative of the congressional meltdown is the president's impeachment, which is all part of the swamp's coup d'etat to rid the country of President Trump. More than anything, this coup denotes the presence of a cultural revolution. Such a revolution happens when an outsider enters a new culture. The person either adapts to the culture or the culture rejects the person, which is quite normal. However, when the culture grows to the point that it fails to serve its constituents, you need an outsider to change it, like President Trump. This is all about serving the needs of the people, not the political power brokers in Washington. Last week, Prime Minister Boris Johnson of the UK drove his Conservative Party to an overwhelming victory over the Labour Party, thereby opening the door for the British to finally exit the European Union, the Brexit movement. This victory is significant as it was viewed as the will of the people. This should be considered a harbinger of things to come in the 2020 U.S. elections. People are simply sick and tired of the political class going against the will of the people. Democrats are now in the unenviable position of facing angry voters in November. It is highly likely President Trump will experience the same landslide victory Boris Johnson did last week. Thus far, the Democrats have failed in all their attempts to besmirch the character of the president. The Mueller investigation produced nothing, and the impeachment inquiry is going nowhere fast. Shortly after the impeachment coup ends in defeat, the Democrats will continue to hound the president the best they can. It is conceivable they could do another impeachment inquiry, but this will not likely happen. I believe the next thing you will hear is the House trying to censure the president. A censure is a condemnation of an individual, but carries no penalty. Perhaps the best-known censure of an American president was that of Andrew Jackson in 1834. Believe it or not, Abraham Lincoln was censured during the Civil War in 1864, and the last president to be censured was William Howard Taft in 1912. This didn't appear to hurt him politically, as he was appointed the 10th Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in 1921. In all cases, censure was politically motivated, just as it will be with President Trump. Nonetheless, this will be the last desperate act of the Democrats before they're voted out of office. So far, President Trump has played this all quite shrewdly. He has rattled the cage of the swamp, who now face losing their jobs. By doing so, he has cracked the Washington establishment, which is now beginning to crumble. We owe him a great debt of gratitude for this. As to those who feel Mr. Trump doesn't act presidential, I ask what acting presidential has gotten us over the last few decades, other than an erosion of our values and a lowering of the prestige of the country. He may not be politically correct, but he sure knows how to get things done. Thank God for Donald J. Trump, the first American president with the strength and courage to take on the swamp and win. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.